Deep in the heart of ancient Mesoamerica, a civilization thrived with knowledge so advanced, their understanding of time still baffles modern scholars. The Mayans didn't just track days, they built entire monuments to the stars, carving intricate symbols into massive stone calendars. But here's what most people miss. Hidden within those carvings are 25 cryptic symbols, each holding secrets we're only beginning to unravel. Some say they predict cosmic cycles, others whisper of lost prophecies. What do these mysterious markings really mean? Strap in, because we're about to decode the untold story behind the Mayan calendar stones. And trust me, it's not what you learned in school. The very first symbol etched into the Mayan calendar stones isn't just a simple drawing, it's a portal to their cosmic worldview. Meet the Sun Glyph, an intricate spiral resembling rays bursting outward, crowned with the fierce gaze of Kinich Ahau, the sun god himself. To the Maya, this wasn't merely decoration. Kinich Ahau was life itself. His daily journey across the sky dictated planting seasons, harvests, even royal ceremonies. Farmers watched for his glyph's reappearance in carvings, signaling when to sow maize. Warriors saw his face as a promise of strength. But here's the twist: the glyph's design varies slightly across cities. In Palenque, it's framed by jaguar motifs linking the sun to earthly power. At Ixchel, it's entwined with serpentine patterns hinting at celestial cycles. Every curve in that glyph, a deliberate choice merging art, astronomy, and survival. Imagine holding a stone under the noonday sun, tracing that glyph with your fingers. You're touching the heartbeat of an empire that measured time in sunlight. While the Sun Glyph blazed with fiery energy, the second symbol on the Mayan calendar stones offers a cooler, more mysterious presence, the Moon Glyph. Etched in fluid, undulating lines, this symbol doesn't just represent the night sky. It embodies Ixchel, the revered goddess of the moon, weaving, and even childbirth. Where Kinich Ahau's glyph radiated power, Ixchel's design flows like water, her lunar phases depicted as delicate crescents nestled within serpentine coils. Unlike the rigid symmetry of the Sun Glyph, the Moon Glyph shifts, sometimes a slender arc, other times a full, haunting circle, mirroring the actual lunar cycle the Maya tracked with precision. Archaeologists have found these glyphs carved near healing temples, where midwives invoked Ixchel's protection, and in sacred codices predicting eclipses. The artistry here is softer, more organic, as if the stone itself remembers the moon's pull on the tides. Picture this under a silver-lit sky. A Mayan scribe adjusts the glyph's curve to match the night's phase, each stroke a silent dialogue between Earth and cosmos. Now we come to the third symbol, the one that sparked both awe and dread in the Maya world. Carved with jagged lines like a celestial dagger, the Venus Glyph pulsed with meaning far beyond its compact form. Unlike the softer curves of the moon, this design mimics the star's brilliance, sharp points radiating outward as if capturing Venus mid-spark. But here's why it mattered. The Maya were master astronomers, and Venus wasn't just a pretty light, it was a harbinger. They charted its 8-year cycle with jaw-dropping precision, noting how it shifted from the morning star to the evening star, and when it aligned just right. That's when warriors sharpened their blades. Kings timed battles to these celestial shifts, believing Venus's glare favored the bold. Temples at Chaac even echo this connection. Stairs angled to frame Venus's rise during sacred dates. So next time you see that star twinkling at dusk, remember, to the Maya, it wasn't just a planet. It was a cosmic war drum beating time to the march of empires. If the Sun Glyph blazed with light and Venus flashed like a blade in the sky, the fourth symbol takes us into the shadows where the Jaguar Glyph prowls with quiet intensity. This isn't just a depiction of a big cat. Carved with heavy brows and bared fangs, the glyph embodies the duality of Mayan belief, both regal and terrifying. The jaguar wasn't merely an animal, it was the earthly form of the sun god's darker twin, the one who ruled the underworld after daylight faded. Picture this: while Kinich Ahau crossed the sky, the Jaguar god carried the sun through the realm of Xibalba, its spotted coat mirroring the stars in the night. Kings wore jaguar pelts to channel its ferocity, and warriors drank potions infused with its essence before battle, believing they'd inherit its stealth. But here's where it gets eerie. In murals at Bonampak, the Jaguar Glyph appears beside sacrificial scenes, its eyes hollowed out, a reminder that power and death were inseparable. Even today, deep in the rainforest, the distant growl of a jaguar echoes like a whisper from the past, carrying the weight of an empire that revered the night as much as the day. Slithering through the mythology of the Maya, the fifth glyph coils with deceptive elegance the serpent, a symbol pulsing with contradictions. Unlike the rigid designs of earlier glyphs, this one flows in undulating waves, scales etched with such precision you'd swear they could rustle against stone. But don't let its beauty fool you. This is Kukulkan, the feathered serpent, a deity who could summon storms with one breath and cradle newborn civilizations in the next. At Chichen Itza, the glyph comes alive during equinoxes, when sunlight slithers down the pyramid steps like a phantom serpent, a feat of architecture and astronomy so precise modern engineers still marvel at it. Villagers prayed to this glyph for rain, while warriors saw its fangs as a warning. Creation and destruction were two sides of the same scale. Even the glyph's shape tells a story, feathers merging with serpentine curves, a visual paradox echoing Kukulkan's role as both life-giver and chaos-bringer. Dig deeper, and you'll find this symbol carved into midwives' tools and battle standards alike, proof that the Maya understood a timeless truth. Every beginning demands an ending, and even the gods walk a razor's edge. Amid the pantheon of Mayan symbols, the sixth glyph carries the weight of life itself, the Water Glyph, a cascading network of interlocking swirls that seem to ripple across the stone. To the Maya, water wasn't just a necessity, it was divine. Each curve in this glyph channels the essence of Chaac, the rain god, whose thunderous axe split the clouds to nourish crops and fill sacred cenotes. Unlike the sharp angles of the Venus Glyph or the coiled tension of the serpent, this symbol flows with unrestrained movement, as if the stone itself could melt into a river. You'll find it carved deep into the walls of Ixchel's rain temples, where priests once burned offerings to summon storms. Farmers traced its pattern in the soil before planting, believing Chaac's favor hid in every droplet. Even the glyph's variations tell a story. In drought-stricken regions, it appears with jagged lines like lightning cracking the sky, while in lush lowlands, the waves roll smooth and endless. The message is clear: water was both giver and taker, blessing the land with abundance or vanishing without warning, leaving empires to pray under a merciless sun. To touch this glyph was to touch the pulse of survival, where every harvest, every throne depended on the whim of the rain. Beneath the vibrant swirls of water glyphs and the fierce gaze of jaguar symbols lies the seventh mark, chiseled with chilling precision. The Death Glyph emerges not as a mere skull, but as a masterwork of shadows where hollow eyes and grinning teeth frame the Mayan vision of the afterlife. Unlike the sun's warmth or the serpent's dynamism, this glyph strips existence to its bones literally. Each line is deliberate. The nasal cavity elongates into a portal, the jaw yawns toward the underworld, and the forehead often bears the glyph for 0, signifying the void. Yet this wasn't purely a symbol of fear. For the Maya, death wasn't an end, it was a threshold. Priests donned skeletal masks during solstice ceremonies, not to terrify but to commune with ancestors. Kings etched this glyph into their sarcophagi, asserting their divine right to walk among the dead before rebirth. Even in sacrifice, the glyph's presence transformed terror into sacred exchange, a life given to nourish the cosmic order. Walk through any Mayan ruin today and you'll feel it, the cool whisper of those carvings, reminding us that light and darkness weren't opposites but partners in an endless dance. From the solemn gaze of the Death Glyph, we shift to a symbol pulsing with life, the Maize Glyph. Imagine a tender stalk carved in stone, its leaves unfurling like hands reaching for the sun. This isn't just a plant to the Maya, it's the very foundation of their world. Corn wasn't merely food. Sacred myths told of humans being molded from maize dough by the gods themselves. Every curve in this glyph mirrors the crop's growth cycle: planting, ripening, harvest, etched into temple walls as a prayer for abundance. Farmers studied these carvings alongside celestial events, timing their sowings when the Pleiades constellation appeared, signaling the rains. Even royal feasts revolved around maize, with rulers depicted holding ears of corn like scepters, their power rooted in the soil's generosity. Beneath the glyph's deceptively simple lines lies a truth. Civilization flourished not on gold but golden kernels, each harvest a testament to harmony between earth and sky. Towering above the maize fields and rain temples, the ninth symbol whips through Mayan carvings with untamed energy: the Wind Glyph. A spiraling vortex of lines, this glyph captures the fury of Huracan, the storm god whose name still echoes in our modern word, hurricane. Unlike the steady curves of water or the rigid symmetry of the sun, this design is chaos in stone, jagged edges twisting into a tempest's heart. When it appeared in codices, priests knew to brace for gales. Farmers scanned the skies for signs of coming storms. But Huracan wasn't just destruction. His breath also cleared the way for renewal, scattering seeds across burned forests and carving paths for sacred rivers. In the Dresden Codex, the glyph coils beside prophecies of black winds, warning of years when crops would flatten under his might. Yet in Palenque, it's etched gently near royal birth chambers, a reminder that even the wildest forces could usher in new life. Hold your hand over this glyph, and you'll almost feel the ancient air shift, charged with the same power that once guided sails, toppled empires, and whispered secrets to those who dared to listen. Emerging from the primordial waters of Mayan mythology comes a glyph steeped in cosmic significance: the crocodile. Unlike the elegant serpent or the prowling jaguar, this symbol sprawls across stones with thick, armored scales, its gaping jaws frozen mid-snap. But this isn't just any reptile, it's Ixchel, the mythic crocodile whose massive body formed the very earth itself. Picture this: in ancient Maya creation stories, the world didn't rest on pillars or turtle shells. It floated atop the back of a celestial crocodile, drifting through endless waters. Every bump and ridge in the glyph's design mirrors the hills and valleys of the living landscape. In Palenque, you'll find it carved beside star charts, linking land and sky. Yet in coastal cities like Chalum, the glyph sheds its cosmic role, transforming into a guardian of fishermen, its jagged teeth warding off storms. What makes this symbol truly fascinating is how it dances between realms, part monster, part creator, both feared and revered. While the serpent represented duality and the jaguar embodied night, the crocodile glyph held something raw: the untamed chaos of creation itself, where land and water, terror and sustenance were forever intertwined. Leaping into view with an energy entirely its own, the 11th symbol on the Mayan calendar stones dances with mischief: the rabbit glyph. Unlike the fearsome jaguar or the cosmic crocodile, this one's all whimsy, its ears perked mid-hop, paws poised as if caught mid-prank. But don't underestimate its playful curves. To the Maya, rabbits weren't just forest creatures, they were lunar deities, their shadows said to form the patches on the moon's face. Legends tell of a drunken rabbit who, in a fit of lunar revelry, mistook the moon goddess Ixchel's pulque, a sacred fermented drink, for water, guzzling it down before tumbling into the night sky. That's why you'll find this glyph etched into drinking vessels and moon temples alike, a reminder that even the gods had a sense of humor. In the Dresden Codex, the rabbit appears beside dates marking festivals where nobles drank to excess, echoing the myth. But here's the twist: this trickster also had a serious side. Its glyph often surfaces in healing rites tied to fertility and the moon's cycles, proving that laughter and magic often shared the same hearth. Next time you spot a rabbit darting through ruins at dusk, remember, you might just be glimpsing an ancient deity's unfinished punchline. Where the rabbit's glyph danced with mischief, the 12th symbol swoops in on leathery wings, the bat glyph, a shadowy figure etched with jagged precision. This isn't just a creature of the night, it's a direct link to Xibalba, the Mayan underworld, where the bat reigned as a harbinger of transformation and sacrifice. Unlike the fluid curves of other glyphs, this one is all sharp angles, wings spread like obsidian blades, ears pricked as if listening for whispers from beyond. In murals at Naj Tunish Cave, the bat looms over scenes of ritual, its gaping mouth mirroring the cenotes where offerings were cast into darkness. But there's more here than fear. The Maya saw bats as guardians of thresholds, creatures that navigated the veil between life and death. Warriors wore amulets carved with this glyph before battle, believing it granted the bat's keen senses able to see in the blackest night. Even today, descendants in Guatemala's highlands still speak of bats carrying messages to ancestors. So next time you glimpse one flitting through ruins at dusk, remember, to the Maya, this wasn't just an animal. It was a sacred bridge between worlds, one whose shadow still lingers in the silent depths of forgotten temples. Soaring above the chaos of the jungle canopy, the 13th symbol strikes with regal precision, the eagle glyph. Its hooked beak and outstretched talons aren't just carvings, they're a testament to the Maya's obsession with vision, both earthly and divine. Unlike the bat's underworld whispers or the rabbit's lunar antics, this glyph embodies clarity, the eagle's piercing gaze mirroring the sun's relentless path across the sky. Kings adopted this symbol as their own, stitching it into royal headdresses and etching it onto battle standards. Why? Because to rule, you needed the eagle's perspective, to see threats and opportunities from impossible heights. Warriors aspired to its ferocity, painting their shields with its image, believing its spirit would guide their arrows, but there's a deeper layer here. In the Madrid Codex, the eagle perches atop celestial trees, its wings brushing the realm of the gods. At Capon, it's carved beside solar alignments, its wingspan matching the sun's zenith. This wasn't just a bird, it was a living bridge between the heavens and the throne, a reminder that true power demanded more than strength, it demanded sight. Where rivers meet the sea and salt mingles with fresh water, the 14th glyph surfaces fluid, alive, and shimmering with hidden depths. The fish glyph doesn't just depict a creature, it captures the pulse of Mayan trade routes and the reverence for aquatic deities. Unlike the eagle's piercing dominance or the bat's shadowy mystique, this symbol swims with quiet purpose, its scales etched in rhythmic waves, fins splayed as if mid-swim. Along the coasts of Belize and Guatemala's trade hubs like Cerros, this glyph appears on pottery and jade ornaments, marking bustling ports where salted fish and shells changed hands. But dive deeper, and you'll find it's also tied to Chaac's watery domain. Fish were considered his messengers, their movements predicting rains or droughts. In murals at Cholum, the glyph twists into stylized forms, blending with waves to honor the god of storms. What's fascinating is how its meaning shifts with location. Inland, it's a lifeline carved near wells. On the coast, it adorns nets and fishing spears, a talisman against rogue tides. This wasn't just sustenance, it was a language of survival, written in the silver flicker of scales beneath the surface. Amid the solemn glyphs of gods and cosmic forces, the 15th symbol bursts onto the scene with unbridled creativity, the monkey glyph, a playful yet profound tribute to artistry and wit. Carved with curling tails and mischievous grins, this glyph honors the twin monkey gods Hun Bats and Hun Chuan, who weren't just deities but patron saints of scribes, dancers, and artisans. Picture a Mayan sculptor laughing as he etches their likeness onto a temple frieze, their exaggerated features mirroring the chaotic joy of creation itself. In the Dresden Codex, the twins appear mid-dance, their glyphs woven into musical instruments and paintbrushes, proof that the Maya saw creativity as divine mischief. But here's the twist, these monkeys weren't just entertainers. Their glyph often appears beside royal genealogies, linking them to the sacred duty of recording history. At Kukulkan, a stone step depicts them holding ink pots, their paws stained with the same pigments used to immortalize kings. Even their myths tease this duality. Legend says the twins were punished by the sun god and forced to forever scribble and sing, turning their pranks into purpose. So next time you see this glyph's cheeky grin, remember, to the Maya, art wasn't just decoration. It was the heartbeat of civilization, thrumming with the same wild energy as the jungle itself. Beneath the towering pyramids and across the sprawling plazas of Mayan cities, another symbol slinks into view, one often overlooked but steeped in quiet power. The lizard glyph stretches across stones with a minimalist elegance, its slender body and splayed toes tracing the contours of the earth itself. Unlike the dramatic swirls of wind or the sharp intensity of the eagle, this glyph is all about subtlety, a single, fluid line capturing the essence of movement, as if the creature could dart off the rock at any moment. But don't mistake its simplicity for insignificance. To the Maya, lizards weren't just sunbathing bystanders, they were sacred intermediaries between the physical and spiritual worlds. Healers invoked their glyph in rituals, believing these creatures carried the secrets of medicinal plants in their quick, skittering steps. In the Madrid Codex, the lizard appears beside recipes for poultices, its image scratched onto clay jars filled with herbs. What's fascinating is how its design shifts depending on location. Near caves, it's elongated, echoing the twisting passages underground. In garden carvings, it curls around sprouting maize, a guardian of growth. Even today, traditional medicine in the Yucatan whispers of lizards as omens. Spot one darting into your path, and it might just be leading you to a cure. This isn't just a glyph, it's a silent, ancient reminder that sometimes the smallest beings hold the deepest wisdom. High above the sacred cenotes where offerings sank into darkness, the vulture glyph circles with quiet authority, a stark contrast to the eagle's sunlit dominance. Where the eagle symbolized clarity and kingship, the vulture embraced a grittier truth, endings as sacred as beginnings. Carved with hunched shoulders and a hooked beak, this glyph didn't just represent a scavenger, it embodied the divine recycler of life. Priests painted its image on burial shrouds, trusting its spirit to carry souls skyward, just as vultures cleansed the earth of decay. In the Madrid Codex, the glyph appears beside dates of royal funerals, its wings outstretched like a bridge between Xibalba and the stars. But here's the twist: while eagles ruled the day, vultures ruled the in-between, dawn and dusk, when shadows blurred the lines between worlds. At El Mirador, archaeologists found the glyph etched into astronomer priests' tools, hinting at its role in predicting solstices from carcass-filled middens. To the Maya, even death's custodians held cosmic wisdom, their silent flights tracing patterns only the gods could decipher. Bursting forth from the stone like petals unfurling at dawn, the 18th symbol reveals the Mayan obsession with fleeting beauty and eternal cycles, the flower glyph. This isn't just a botanical sketch, it's a masterpiece of symbolism where delicate petals spiral around a central stamen, each curve echoing the movement of planets. To the Maya, flowers weren't merely decorations, they were portals. Royals wove fragrant blossoms like plumeria and marigold into headdresses during coronations, believing their scent attracted divine favor. In the Madrid Codex, the glyph blooms beside love poems, its form mimicking the rhythmic cadence of verses whispered between nobles, but beneath its elegance lies a darker duality. The same glyph appears in tomb paintings at Palenque, where kings were buried atop beds of crushed petals, their vibrant hues symbolizing resurrection. Warriors carried flower-adorned shields not just for beauty, but as a reminder, life, like a blossom, was radiant but brief. Even the glyph's design whispers this truth. Some carvings show petals slightly wilted, as if frozen mid-decline. From palace gardens to the afterlife's threshold, this symbol taught a profound lesson. True power lay not in permanence, but in embracing the sacred dance between bloom and decay. Carving its presence into stone with fingers outstretched as if reaching through time itself, the 19th symbol tells a story far beyond its simple form, the hand glyph. While earlier glyphs roared with gods and cosmic forces, this one whispers in human terms, its 5 distinct digits representing both the tangible and the mystical. To the Maya, hands weren't just tools, they were instruments of creation, counting, and prophecy. Watch any Mayan scribe at work, and you'd see them tallying sacred numbers on their fingers, each knuckle a step in the complex dance of calendar math. The glyphs design very subtly but deliberately, sometimes open-palmed, symbolizing offering or surrender, other times clenched, marking resistance or strength. In the Dresden Codex, it clusters near dates tied to harvests and rituals, its presence a silent command to count or measure. But here's where it turns extraordinary. Diviners used this glyph in casting lots, tracing its lines like a map to the future. At Ixchel, a lintel carving shows a queen gripping a hand-shaped scepter, her fingers mirroring the glyph's grooves as she channels ancestral wisdom. Even today, modern Maya elders still use hand gestures to recount ancient stories, their movements echoing carvings etched 1,000 years ago. This glyph isn't just art, it's a bridge between the mundane and the divine, where every finger tells a tale of time, touch, and the unbroken thread of tradition. Glimmering across Mayan stelae like scattered fragments of the night sky, the 20th symbol reveals a civilization far more attuned to the cosmos than we often realize. The star glyph. This isn't just a cluster of dots, it's a celestial map, each point meticulously placed to mirror constellations the Maya tracked for millennia. Unlike the sun's bold radiance or the moon's rhythmic phases, this glyph captures something more elusive, the fixed stars, silent sentinels guiding sailors across the Caribbean and farmers through planting cycles. Archaeologists at Kukulkan discovered observatories where priests aligned sightlines with this glyph's patterns, predicting solstices with pinpoint accuracy. But here's what's startling: modern astronomers have found these ancient star charts match Orion's belt and the Pleiades with near-scientific precision, centuries before telescopes existed. Trade routes etched in codices even trace paths between cities using stars as waypoints, proving the Maya didn't just gaze skyward, they navigated by it. Imagine standing deep in the jungle, this glyph glowing under torchlight as a priest whispers how those very stars would align in 800 years. It's a humbling thought. While we rely on GPS, they mapped infinity with nothing but stone and genius. While stars mapped the heavens and hands shaped human destiny, the 21st symbol grounds us firmly in the tangible world, the Earth Glyph. Picture a perfect square divided into 4 quarters, its lines intersecting at precise angles. This isn't just geometry, it's the Mayan vision of the world itself, a sacred blueprint where every corner holds meaning. The 4 arms stretch toward the cardinal directions: east, where the sun rebirths each morning; west, the realm of ancestors; north, cloaked in celestial mystery; and south, pulsing with the heat of life. Farmers planted crops aligned to these divisions, trusting the earth's balance. Kings built cities mirroring this glyph, their temples rising at each compass point to anchor the cosmos. Unlike the fluidity of water or the whimsy of the rabbit, this symbol is unwavering. Its rigid lines a promise of stability in a world of chaos. Yet look closer and you'll find subtle variations. Some carvings add a spiral at the center, hinting at the life force underfoot, while others frame it with serpent tails, weaving earth and sky together. To touch this glyph was to touch the very bones of creation, a reminder that even empires rise upon something solid, something sacred. There's a reason fire mesmerizes us: it devours, yet it also purifies. The 22nd symbol, the fire glyph, crackles across Mayan stones with raw, untamed energy. Jagged tongues of flame spiral upward in this carving, each flicker a testament to the Maya's reverence for fire's duality. This wasn't just about warmth or cooking. It was the sacred breath of Xiuhtecuhtli, the god who wore a turquoise mask of flames, ruling over both hearths and volcanoes. Picture New Year ceremonies where entire communities extinguished their fires, only to relight them from a single sacred blaze, a ritual of renewal passed down through generations. Yet the same glyph appears in war scenes at Bonampak, where torches gut temples and enemies flee the inferno. The Maya understood what modern science confirms: fire clears the way for rebirth. Forests thrive after burns, seeds split open in the heat, and even today, farmers in the Yucatan practice controlled burns, guided by ancestral knowledge etched in those very glyphs. Whether dancing in a priest's censer or roaring through conquests, this symbol held a truth as old as civilization itself. Sometimes, to create, you must first let the old world burn. Amidst the intricate swirls of Mayan glyphs, one symbol stands out for its deceptive simplicity: a single, teardrop-shaped carving so unassuming you might miss it. The raindrop glyph, but don't let its minimal design fool you. This tiny mark carries the weight of empires, etched into stones where priests once knelt, begging Chaac to open the skies. Unlike the elaborate flames of the fire glyph or the rigid structure of the earth symbol, this one is pure movement, capturing the moment a droplet fractures against stone. Archaeologists find it clustered in drought-stricken regions like Kaaba, where entire plazas were designed to channel rainwater, their surfaces pocked with hundreds of these glyphs like a divine blueprint for survival. In storm carvings at Ixchel, it cascades down temple walls in rhythmic rows, mimicking torrents that would flood fields and fill reservoirs. What's haunting is how these carvings vary. Some droplets are fat and round, others thin as needles, each likely reflecting real rainfall patterns observed over generations. Picture a farmer tracing his finger over the glyph, feeling the same desperation as his ancestors did under a cloudless sky, whispering the same prayer. This wasn't just art, it was a language of hope written in water and stone. The 24th symbol cuts through history with chilling clarity. The skull glyph, a stark silhouette of empty eye sockets and bared teeth carved deeper into Mayan stone than any other. But this wasn't just a morbid decoration. To the Maya, skulls were living texts, objects of terror and reverence woven into the fabric of daily life. Warriors hung them from belts as trophies, believing each one siphoned the enemy's strength. Yet in the quiet corners of Phalanx temples, those same glyphs adorned altars where families communed with ancestors, offering tamales and jade to skeletal jaws that once told stories under moonlight. The difference lay in the details. Battle skulls were carved jagged, their glyphs splashed with red ochre like dried blood, while ancestral versions gleamed polished white, often inset with mother-of-pearl teeth, a poignant nod to the enduring bite of wisdom beyond the grave. Under flickering torchlight, priests would trace the glyphs' hollows during solstice rites, whispering names into the darkness, bridging millennia in a single breath. Modern excavators still stumble upon these carvings stacked in pyramids, each layer a generation's silent hymn to the dead. It's a paradox carved in stone. What frightens us also connects us, and the faces we fear most are often the ones we long to see again. At last, we arrive at the final glyph, the one that binds all others together in an endless loop. The time glyph doesn't resemble anything we'd expect. No suns, no serpents, just interlocking circles spiraling inward like a cosmic fingerprint. This is the Mayan vision of eternity carved in stone, where past, present, and future weren't straight lines but intertwined threads. Their calendars didn't just count days, they mapped vast cycles: 260-day sacred rounds, 52-year calendar wheels, even the 26,000-year wobble of Earth's axis. Every curve in this glyph mirrors those celestial rhythms, a silent testament to their obsession with patterns deeper than lifetimes. At Huracan, stelae tower over plazas, each one etched with this glyph alongside dates stretching millions of years into the past, proof they saw time as a wheel, not an arrow. Modern astronomers still marvel at their precision. The Mayans calculated a solar year at 365.242 days, off by just 17 seconds from today's measurements. But here's what truly chills the spine. This glyph often appears beside prophecies, not as doomsaying but as a reminder: what has circled back before will circle back again. Droughts, rebirths, even the stars themselves, all part of a rhythm as old as the stones that bear these marks. To trace this glyph is to touch the mind of a civilization that didn't just track time, they danced with it. From the radiant sun glyph to the spiraling time symbol, we've journeyed through 25 cryptic carvings that reveal just how deeply the Maya understood our universe. Each mark on those ancient stones wasn't just art, it was science, spirituality, and survival etched into rock. They tracked Venus like a celestial clock, worshipped maize as the flesh of humanity, and saw time not as a line but a sacred circle. These symbols weren't mere decorations, they were blueprints for a civilization that built cities aligned to the stars and harvest time to the Pleiades. Now over to you, which glyph left you in awe? Was it the jaguar's primal power, the rabbit's lunar mischief, or the vulture's solemn wisdom? Drop your favorite in the comments and let's keep unraveling these mysteries together. If you're hooked on history's hidden codes, don't forget to subscribe. Trust me, we've only scratched the surface of what the past is whispering to us. Until next time, keep looking closer. The stones aren't just speaking, they're telling stories.